with. And in the book, I found out that Doug played with the Hanson Brothers. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I didn't play with them, but I went to St. Louis Blues training camp, and their farm team, their first farm team was in Salt Lake City, and they had a team in Columbus and Johnstown, and they sent me to Johnstown, and that's the year that Slapshot was made. That based on that year, so I was there through training camp, and then Brian Murray had recommended me for a Hockey Canada scholarship when I played against him in the Central League. So I remember phoning my wife. She was at Western. I said, "Hey, honey, this is kind of crazy down here. You know, I'm not sure I really want to do this." So I left and I went to the GM. First of all, I was out to dinner with a guy by the name of Reg Kent, who was a veteran there. And I said, I'm pretty excited. Detroit or St. Louis sent me here, and I'm really excited. He
Yeah.
looked at me and said, "Hey, kid, Detroit sent me here 9 years ago, and I've never heard another word from you. If you get out of here, you run." So then I went. Then I went to the GM. His name was John Mitchell, who's a legend in the East Coast League. And I said, "What do you think?" And he said, "If you're my son, and after watching you in training camp, I'd go back to university." So I left.
Yeah.
But that was fine. And years later, in our first year in Columbus, and I told the story in the book, how Clark, my son, and I are driving around Columbus on the 270, and Dave Hanson's being interviewed. He said, "Well, your general manager here could have been in the movie too, but he wasn't good enough looking." And Clark looked at me. And he said, "Dad, you could have been in Slapshot," like it was the greatest thing ever. So